this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. Thanks to everybody who's listening right now in the podcast. Today is November the 3rd. Today is Monday 2025. I want to first thank everybody. I want to thank everybody who listens to the podcast in any of the platforms that I mentioned, Spotify specifically, and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. I mean, it's basically everywhere. Amazon Music and Pandora Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening and rating the podcast. It helps me as a creator. Today I was notified that I reached a milestone on the stream, so I'm very thankful for that, right? And it's funny because people, a lot of the times people will say to me, every time I speak, they'll say, can you say that again? I don't understand. And can you say that again slowly? Like I heard that my entire life. And you will think by now my English will be better. And I think it's actually worse. Some days are good, some days are bad. And for me to have a podcast that reached 25,000 downloads, that to me is just crazy. And I'm so thankful for that because who would have thought, right? And I try to do podcasts in Spanish also, and in the English I do the captions as much as I can when I do the videos on YouTube and things like this, because I need the captions too for myself when I'm doing the editing. So I want to thank everybody who listens to the podcast. Thank you guys for your comments. Thank you for downloading the streaming of the podcast. Really reached a milestone today. You know what I mean now, and that really makes me feel really good. I really hope that it continues to grow. And so I'm looking down here at the camera here on Spotify. I really hope that it continues to grow, and we'll see what God wants to do with it. I started out by giving breaking news and things like this, and then I started picking up cases that really touched my heart, like the Diane Schuler case and the Lane Bryant shooting. Speaking about the Lane Bryant shooting that happened in 2008, I gotta say I learned also today some great news about that case, because it's been so long since the Lane Bryant shooting happened in Tinley Park in 2008, and just today I learned they're actually doing a documentary, and that's gonna come out in the anniversary on February 2nd of 2026. So I'm looking forward to see the documentary, and I pray, I pray so much for that case to be resolved, because I worked at Lane Bryant when I was in college. When I would come home from college break, I would work there for the holidays, and I always, Lane Bryant sells plus size clothing, and I always felt comfortable there, right? And I always like, not only that I like the brand, I like the people that I work with, and I like, kind of like our community. You get a lot of repeat customers, and you learn the brand. And me coming from college break and calling them like early December and be like, I'll be there on December 15th, and they're like, can you start on the 16th? It was like that. They always had my part-time holiday job there, and I really appreciate it, especially when you're in college. So I'm really thankful that we have a new person looking at the Lane Bryant case. I'm looking forward to see what comes out of that. I know somebody knows who did that to the ladies. If you're not familiar with the Lane Bryant shooting, I did a podcast about that maybe in 2022. You'll be able to kind of like get information. You can just research about it too. I know a lot of podcasters and YouTubers have spoken about it. It's been so many years and it still has not been resolved. So I'm really looking forward to having new eyes, new people looking into it, and getting information about it. Hopefully get a resolution for the victims, right? So I'm very thankful once again for everybody who listens to the podcast, every platform that you use for it. Don't forget to follow the podcast on Spotify, rate it. You can do the same with Apple Podcasts. Really thankful for that. And I just want to come and say thank you. And speaking about the podcast, right now I'm gonna give you an update about an episode that I did regarding the monkeys that escape in Mississippi. And I don't know what's going on with my voice now. I feel like I'm whispering. So I'm gonna talk about the monkeys that escape. Excuse me, I might need some water, so I do apologize about that. It's the time of the season, right? So I think it was last week that I told you guys that a truck overturned in Mississippi, and that truck was carrying large monkeys that was being transported to a university lab. And I remember coming here and telling you that there was some misinformation about it. Something didn't sound right with this case with the monkeys. The driver had no idea where they were going, where they picked them up, how many were they. But one thing they knew for sure was that they were very aggressive to humans. And I couldn't understand, when you're transporting animals like that, right, that are aggressive to humans, that you have to be so careful, right? Some of them, they were saying, some of them even were carrying diseases. Like, how can you not know for certain who are you transporting, right? How many of them specifically? So when I came here and told you about this case, I believe one of the monkeys, after they got into a car accident, the truck overturned, and the monkeys got loose. A lot of them died in the spot, and then the final report was that only one of them was loose roaming the area, right? And now we have an update about that case, is that a Mississippi man had actually shot and killed the large monkey that was missing. And she said she did it to protect her own children. So let me read to you guys this article briefly here. A Mississippi mother said she shot and killed one of the monkeys that escaped after a truck overturned last week, fearing it posed a threat to her children and others in the neighborhood. And her name is Jessica Van Ferguson. She said she was in bed on Sunday when her 16-year-old son told her that a monkey was running through the yard on their home near Heidelberg, and she said she grabbed her cell phone and firearm before stepping outside and spotting the animal 60 feet away. She's 35 years old, and she's a professional chef. She said she opened fire out of concern for her children's safety. That, you gotta protect your children, but that's like very wild, very bold in her part. And the report that we got from these monkeys were that they were aggressive. So she had to do what she had to do, right? And good thing about this is that she acted quickly, and she took matters into her own hands quickly, because if she would have been like, okay, let me call for help, that monkey would have gone to a different place. And at nighttime, knowing that people were like afraid to even leave their home because they know aggressive monkeys were loose, and carrying diseases, aggressive to humans, so many things that you have to be so careful about. So she did what she had to do, basically. And she says here, quote unquote, I did what any mother would do to protect her children. She said she has 5 children ranging from 4 to 16. And she said, quote unquote, I shot at it, and he just stood there, and I shot again, and he backed up, and that was when he fell. So it's gonna sound very insensitive to some people. It's like the monkey was also kind of like in disbelief. He was just like frozen there. And she shot twice, it says here. It says also that a homeowner found one of the escaped monkeys on their property that morning. In a social media post, the sheriff's office said that Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks had taken custody of the animal, but offered no further details. Before Van Ferguson stepped outside, she said she called the police and was told to keep an eye on the monkey. But she hesitated, worried that if it got away, it could possibly be a threat to children in a nearby home. So she did have the time to call for help. But that's the thing, like, imagine this, right? You know there are monkeys that are dangerous, they're loose in that area, right? And your son wakes you up and say, Mom, they're in the backyard. The monkey's in the backyard. And then you're gonna be on the phone with the police and they're like, okay, we're coming, just keep an eye on it. Like, the monkey will hear the sirens and the commotion, he's gonna run away. And at nighttime, how are they gonna know where he went? So she saw an opportunity and she took matters into her own hands right there. I mean, I'm sure it was probably very graphic, I guess you can say, for her children, but it would have been a different story if that monkey would have not been stopped from attacking one of them, right? Thanks be to God for that. She said, quote unquote, if he attacked somebody's kid and I could have stopped it, that would be a lot on me. And that's, basically what I just said too. It is kind of scary and dangerous that they are running around and people have kids playing in their yards. I agree with her. A truck transporting 21 rose monkeys overturned on Thursday on Interstate 59 near Heidelberg, Mississippi, setting off a day-long search for escaped animals. According to Tulane University, 13 monkeys were located at the crash site and successfully transported to the intended destination last week. 5 were killed during the search effort, while 3 remain unaccounted for until one of them was recovered Sunday by homeowner officials said. The monkeys were housed to Tulane National Primate Research Center in New Orleans, which supplies primates to a scientific research organization. In a statement, Tulane clarified that the animals were not owned by the university, nor were they being transported by the university personnel. And that, I told you, when I read the story, I knew something was off with so many details. It just didn't make sense, right? And now they're like, basically, they're not us and we were not transporting them too. So definitely it feels, it's my opinion, I feel like there's something there that's kind of like trying to be kept hidden from this whole thing. Says here that the sheriff said initially reports from the truck's occupants warned that the monkeys were dangerous and potentially carry diseases. However, Tulane officials later confirmed that the monkeys had recently received health screening and were pathogen free. I mean, that even doesn't make sense because they're like, oh no, we actually did their annual physicals and they're good, that they did health screening on them and they're actually good. But you couldn't even tell in that moment when the story broke. You couldn't even tell where they were going, how many exactly of them were, and what kind of diseases they had. So it's just something is off with the whole information, I think, or maybe there was a lot of misinformation released too early on, and now it's getting everybody confused. Despite that, Johnson, the sheriff, noted that authorities still consider the animals a threat due to their aggressive nature and stated they need to be neutralized. The status of the 2 remaining large monkeys was unclear as of the latest update. So my mistake, I think I said that they were all captured now by the man killing the last one, but it's actually 2 of them. 3 were missing, was still a large. 1 got killed by in the backyard, and then now they have 2 more still missing. So wow. I mean, I can only imagine living in that area right now. I'm sure everybody is very concerned with it. The Mississippi Highway Patrol is investigating the cause of the crash, which occurred about 100 miles from Jackson, the state capital. So, wow, this is very, I wonder who's behind them. Like, who really needed them or something? Because the university said, yeah, they were coming here, but we didn't transport them and we don't really own them, nothing like that. So that to me just is it kind of like the more information they release, it seems to me like they are actually hiding more stuff, right? Or it makes people more confused. So let me know, guys, what you think about this. And like I said, thank you once again, everybody who's listening using the who's listening to the podcast in Spotify and even YouTube podcasts, anywhere that you stream this podcast. Really, I want to say thank you to everybody, and continue to rate the podcast and continue to download it and share it. Really helps me as a creator, and I will definitely come and share the good news with you guys if we reach another milestone. And of course, thank you to everybody who's watching right now on YouTube. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody. Let me know, guys, what you think about the monkeys. Would you have done the same if you had the opportunity? I'm gonna look over here. If you had the opportunity, would you have done the same that this mom did with the monkey? So let me know, guys, in the comments. Thank you so much. Have a good day, everybody. God bless. Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.